What's going on, everybody? This is Max from Unsubscribed Healthcare. I just wanted to go over some of my newest updates for my templates. One of the newest updates here you'll see is the directory. This allows you guys to decide where you want to put your folders for new patients. So if you're going into the unsub menu and you take in a patient intake, it will create a new folder for you based off of the patient's name and last name. But you can also add account number. So if you have like two people named John Smith and you want to be able to differentiate them, I recommend the patient account number added in as well. But you can just have the file save as first and last name. And what that will look like if we come over here, go to unsub menu, you can see I have unsub patients. We'll just do a quick one. So when I say John Smith, and then come down here, you can fill in all these things. These things fill out the CMS 1500 form, which is important for later on. But we just do JS. It is 1017. 2002. So we click submit, and then you'll see it's thinking that little green bar. Form submitted. And then we come over here, and you can see John Smith is selected. And you'll notice what it's doing is it's copying each of the templates that I've made and putting it into his folder. So if I click refresh, you're going to see a few more. It takes a little bit to do this because there are a lot of them. So I have upper extremity now, I have TMJ, I have soap note, pelvic floor, neuro, lumbar, lower extremity, and cervical. So you can see that it is still thinking. It does take quite a bit for it to do. It's usually like a minute or two, but this way you don't have to do any of the copying or anything else when it happens. It's a nice feature, and it's all uploaded into that patient folder so that if you are treating their TMJ or anything else, you can do that. And it's right in their folder right away, so no more copying from template or anything else like that. Say you don't use any of the pelvic floor or anything else like that, you can move it out of the physical therapy templates so that the next time that you make a new patient folder, it's not going to copy over. Same thing for the first and last name, right? You can change that, and we'll change if the person's first name or last name is saved to the folders. Over here, I've also made it so that you can update the URLs for everything, so it soft codes it, so it takes me a lot less time to set this up for you guys. You can see that I'm working on video tutorials for each and every page that I've done, as well as each and every feature in the unsub menu. It is taking me a little bit, but I'm really excited about this new thing too. So this is the clearinghouse. So a lot of you guys have been asking to be able to bill to clearinghouses or being able to bill insurances. And this is the feature that allows you to do that. If you click clear rows, it empties all of the boxes. Anything in red you need to fill in. This is for Office Ally. I don't have any other clearinghouses yet, but I've left room to be able to update and to make it so that it fits their needs. So when I talked to Office Ally, they said that they need a CSV file that has certain criteria that need to be filled. CSV simply is comma-separated values. It's just like a PDF or a JPEG or anything else. It's a type of file. And so it takes the top row and it separates these by commas, and then it fills in all of the information below that into those commas. And it makes it easier for the computers to read, and this way Office Ally would be able to read all of your information. There are literally 233 columns that you can fill in, but you only need to fill in anything that's read down here, and it should work. I don't use Office Ally, so this is why I need testers, but I've made it even easier for you guys. So if you come up here to Maxwell R Shipping, we click on my name, you can see that it already starts to fill in that information for you. Some of the things that I couldn't get to do were like in selecting the insurance plan. So if this person was a Medicare or anything else, because there's too many different insurance names, it's just much easier to program it to do it this way. Also accepting an assignment. Diagnosis codes still update. So if you came over here and you did add ICD-10, you can add more in diagnosis codes as well as ICD-10, as well as CPT codes and modifiers. So if we come over here, we put in a couple of these. You would have to, if you read all of these things, I've tried to make it easy for you to figure it out. and just read and follow those directions. So if we come over here and we say that was in the office, right? And over here, if we were doing more than one CPT code and we wanted to use these shortcuts, we would need to select how many CP codes we want to affect. So if I come here, say we did an evaluation, and we did manual, and we did some therapeutic exercises, right? So I'm going to say 2 plus 3, and then I'm going to click on same modifiers if I want the same modifier. So say that I did it today. Service date from, service date to. You can see that they copy. So that way, if I wanted to put in 4 CPT codes, I just click on 4 and then it will add it down below. Same thing as if I do modifiers. I'm a physical therapist, right? I'm not the best biller, but I understand some of the requirements. Thanks, Anthony. So if we come here, we're going to do 1 unit. Obviously, I don't do the same charges for evaluation as I do manual. And 75, and we'll do 1 unit of that. Come over here, and I was the one who did the treatments, so I am going to click same provider, and you can see that it all copies there, right? Now we see no red, so we should be good to go, except we do want to change the insured phone number. So if the computer doesn't look it up properly, you can always add it in by just writing it in there. And you can see calculates the total charges for you, balance due, signature on file. And also, if you have the referring physician in there, it will look up their NPI number. If you need to add another physician, you click Add Physician and you type in all of that information. For example, if you also didn't have Blue Cross Blue Shield's information, you could come up here and click on Add Insurance Company information, so that way it would be able to pull all of it. It only works if it matches this exactly. So if it matches the Blue Cross Blue Shield BCBS, it would work. If you have Blue Cross Blue Shield written out, you would need to fill in another one that says Blue Cross Blue Shield. So you just fill in that form and then it automatically updates. So now that we have all of this, we can click on Add to CSV File. Okay, and then what that did is that it added all this information below, right? So you can see now it's adding that. What we can do also is that I wanted to make it easy to save these settings. So we can save the settings now that are there. And that way, if we clear the rows, you can see that it gets rid of all of that. And then it also reformats it so all of the equations are there again, right? And then you can come up here. If I go back to Max Shippen, and then I do search patient settings, it takes all that information that we just put in and puts it back. The only thing it doesn't copy is the dates, because I figured it would be annoying to delete the dates if I'm just going to be adding them in over and over again. But this way, you'd be able to put in new dates. So say that we did a new treatment, and we did neuro, and we still did manual, and we still did therapeutic exercises. You can see all the charges and everything else are kept, so that you would just update the date, put in your modifiers that you need, select who did it. So we'll do this, and we'll say we did it tomorrow. Okay, again, I'm a physical therapist, so we'll do that for all of them. And I need to select the 3 billing codes. We'll say that we did it for all of them. Do that. Good. And that should be good to go. So then we would click on Add CSV to File. And if we come down here, you can see that now there are 4 lines. If we go over to the CPT codes, which are way down here, you can see that it changed because I had 4 diagnosis codes when I was practicing earlier. And then I also have here, you can see place of service has changed. So there's a couple of different things that have changed, so you know that this is different, right? So here's the first CPT code, and you can see the different charges I did. Here's the second CPT code, right? And you can see that they change and update. So what you would do is then click Save CSV File. And what this is going to do is it says Export Successful. It tells you which folder it's saved to. And then if you click on it, you can review it. So this is what a CSV file looks like. You can see the titles at the top in row 1, and then all the information that's needed below it. Again, I don't have Office Ally, so I need somebody to test this out for me to let me know if this does work. But that's how you would save it, and then you could clear CSV file. So if you're going to be doing a different one at the next day or at the end of the week, however often you submit it, you can see now that all these rows are cleared. So the nice thing about this too is that if you don't use a clearinghouse, you can still use this for your CMS 1500s. I made it so that you could print it out with a grid or without a grid. So if I click Save CMS with grid, what it does is it copies a template that I've made using Google Slides, and it takes this information and it populates all of the information from the clearinghouse sheet and fills it in. So you can see it created that file. So here's the slide. And this is helpful for anybody that needs a printout, or if they're trying to submit it to their insurance. So say that you're concierge, cash base, you could make one of these in, 10 seconds, maybe a minute, but it prints it out so that way the patients can submit this to their clearinghouse and it is ready to go. If you see anything that's wrong, like this needs to be moved over just a little bit, you can move it over and then it's good. Formatting mostly is fine, but it works really well. If you wanted to print, you'd go to File, Print, or you can also do download as PDF, and it would download directly to your computer. So you got to make sure that's encrypted and everything else if you're going to download it directly to your computer. I am working on making it make a PDF right away when you click it too. It's just a little bit harder because now I'm crossing from slides into sheets and sheets into slides, and I'm still working on figuring that out. Again, I'm new to this whole programming thing. So that's with the grid. Without the grid, I've already gotten it to save as a PDF file right away. So it saves directly into the patient folder, tells you the name, and saves it with the time and date that you saved it. So you can see 1201, 1017, 2022. And then you just print this out. So if you have one of those already pre-printed red forms and it just needs to print in the grid, this prints in the grid for you. And that's what that looks like. All right, and lastly on the clearinghouse, what you can do is you can also add as billing entry. So say I wanted to keep track of the billing, I click add as billing entry. I come down here, we'll click clear. But you can come here, click on the patient's name, patient's ID, and you can see that we just saved one for the 18th. I click search here, and you'll notice that what it has done is it's taken my information, the date of service. If you have a copay, it would be there. Otherwise, it tells you how amount yet to be collected. That's the amount that you billed, amount received. So all of this updates. But the nice thing is I also say which CPT codes were billed at that time, and you also know which therapist was treating. I plan on making it so that it automatically can show you a grid later on of a person's charges and billing habits in a bit, but that way all that information should be able to be graphed and you can easily see how each therapist is performing. I just think it would be cool. I like information. But yeah, so that's the biggest updates that I've been doing. And again, you can see now we have all of these templates. I plan on making more. Still working on occupational therapy, speech, behavioral health, and a few others. Yeah, so those are the updates. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know any feedback, and remember to subscribe to Unsubscribed Healthcare for more helpful information and updates on how to create your own EMR.